All right, wonderful. I'm in a good mood today, so I'm not gonna swear at you, cunt. And then with that out of the way, welcome back to Challenge 52, right? Practicing Challenge 52, which is a challenge created by the artist Athoro, right? He has no idea I exist, but I'm gonna dick ride him all the same. His Discord is in the description, right? Linked in the description. So yeah, we're on the first week. It's not gonna take me a week. This is just something I'm gonna do to constantly revise my fundamentals, and it's a great way to practice it, just like I did with the whole broken draw series, which I'll be going back and forth on. Fucking, I'm, I have no, I have no structure when it comes to like how to what exercises to fall back to when I'm not doing my main art wad practice. So right now it's challenge 52. But yeah, draw along, draw along. The first week is just draw fucking boxes, right? I'm doing a more complicated version of that as per my current skill level, right? I'm trying to challenge myself with the simplicity of the first week, which is literally just draw boxes. So I'm trying to make it as complex as possible. Not because for the sake of complexity, by the way, but so I can practice my design skills. But with that being said, please, let's come on, draw along. Get your fucking pen out, get your paper out, draw along, put the work in. Don't just mentally masturbate over doing the work like I always do. But man, I thankfully managed to move past yum, 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 yum. I was just drinking my coffee. The mental masturbation and actually work. So please join me, join me, join me, join me. But yeah, with that being said, I'm always gonna be this. I'm really like I want to use this week because it's my rest week. And by the way, I'm already thinking while I'm talking, right? But I want to really use this rest week to. Yeah, I really want to use this rest week to figure out design a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like I really want to use this rest week to really apart from working on my lines, apart from working on all that stuff, like I really, and the boxes and just good perspective skills, like I really want to figure out design. Like genuinely, I want to figure out design. Not that like I'm gonna figure it out in terms of, oh yes, I have now mastered design, moving on. But I really want to I want to shift the needle on figuring out design, if that makes sense. And while I'm talking, I'm really trying to think about a good silhouette. So yeah, what does that mean? Like that for me, good design means like the size of the shapes, right? Like in relation to other shapes, right? Maybe I'll be able to think about function. Maybe already thinking about ratios of the shapes, the line work, perspective, as well as silhouette is already going to be a lot, right? And the repetition that's going to be incurred while I practice that is already going to be a lot. But the main thing right now is I genuinely want to figure out, yeah, like what do I think looks cool, and then preceding that, right? Like underlying that is just okay. In terms of my thinking is cool, right? What are the elements that I'm gonna that regarding the different ratios of shapes and the way they're placed and how they're interjected in each other and the silhouette that it has. Like what is something that I'm consistently noticing? Like, oh yeah, this looks cool to me. Like this actually looks cool to me, right? And it's difficult. Like genuinely, don't get me wrong. It's really difficult to figure out good design, at least for me, right? If you're retarded like me, it's always going to be difficult, which is good because if it wasn't difficult, I wouldn't do it. I genuinely would not give a fuck about doing something that's easy, because then I don't know, it doesn't feel like you've earned it, right? And maybe this is a mindset that just won't be relatable for everyone, because maybe many people don't care about things being difficult or easy. They just want to get it done. But I'm training myself to fall in love with the process. Oh look, already like it's misaligned, right? See this line and this line, the perspective's already off. So that's good. And I don't know what I'm trying to make with this yet. Right now, I'm just trying to think about like silhouette, right? Like what's just like an interesting silhouette that can be drawn. So yeah, like you can see boxes can go very far in terms of the the things you can do with them, right? And this is the reason I'm specifically trying to do this with boxes, is because it's simple, right? Like boxes are simple in the grand scheme of draftsmanship skills. Oh, I didn't get the shill art wad. Oh, I guess this isn't about art wad. So yeah, check out Discord. Check out the broken, not the broken draft. Fuck, that's dead, but archived. And yeah, check out the Thoro's Challenge 52 Discord. Right, Jesus Christ, bro. But I'm really trying to think. So what I'm trying to think about is like, okay, elements placed on top of other elements, and that's why I'm leaving things here open like this. Like, what can be done here? What is an element that I can add here, right? And this is why I really like the fact that I started implementing using diagonals right here, here. But I obviously want to think about how, and the thing is like the reason the diagonals, in my opinion, are a good way to challenge my perspective as well, right? Is because they force me to rotate things in the same space. You know what I mean? Like I'm forced to rotate in the same space. Space, and that's really difficult. right? Like I'm literally, basically I'm taking a box like this. I'm taking a box like this one, right? This one. I'm making it thinner, and then I'm rotating it on an axis this way, right? From here to here. And I already fucked it up. Like, I'll be honest, I already fucked it up because the perspective is a bit off, and this is facing a bit away from the perspective that it's supposed to be. But that's fine because that's a mistake, and mistakes are good, right? So this is already a little bit changed, but still trying to make sure everything follows the same perspective, right? And obviously, this is a great way for me to practice calculating as well. Like, I genuinely do want to practice calculating as well, so something like this is actually a lot better, I think. But we'll have to see. Like, in terms of, and by something like this, what I meant is like the angle that I've chosen here is perhaps more accurate. And the thing is, like, you go for accuracy not because you want to be some perfect draftsman or like drawer, right? You don't, it's not about trying to be perfect, but it's like when you aim for perfection, you increase your ability to draw more accurately and for things to look more believable, right? Like, genuinely, at the end of the day, the aim is believability. But, and look, I can even add maybe a box right here in the middle, and I'll make it a bit wider, right? But now, like, what is this angled like? That's the main thing, because I made this decision without thinking. I'll be completely honest. I made this decision without thinking, but now I do have to think and be like, how is this angled? And I believe, let's see, if it's, is it following this yeah, it is following this perspective. So like the perspective of these two boxes. And I know I said I try not to make it so tiny, but it's like I'm still trying to focus on small details like this as well. I'm trying to balance things. I'm trying to balance things in terms of like the many things that you have to think about when you are drawing, right? That looks okay. And in terms of silhouette, I guess it's something I can be slowly working towards, right? So this has to be leaning against something. So this is leaning against, does it really look like it's leaning against it, right? Does it really look like it should have been closer, perhaps? You know, in terms of, because now it looks like it's leaning a bit further away. If I put this line here, yeah, it's leaning kind of in the middle. So, you know, fuck it, we'll put this line here, and we'll just make it so, this is not what I originally wanted, but now that I've done it, it's kind of what's happening, where it's not really the most exciting shape, right? That looks okay. It actually looks pretty mid, but we'll just say it looks okay. And then now also back here, I'm gonna calculate which direction this, or like how much space is being created in the back end for this box that is the foundation of what these elements are, right? And constantly I'm just trying to think about, I ended up converging this a little bit, but I already feel as if this as a silhouette is a little bit more interesting. Maybe not the most enticing in terms of like, oh yeah, wow, what a design, but it's not bad. But I'm gonna rest my brain. I'm gonna actually start incorporating way more of these gap effects, right? But yeah, I hope you guys are drawing along. Whoever the fuck is here, please, for the love of God, draw along, practice your fundamentals, really, really focus, right? And focus, it's important to note that focus weans and wanes, right? And peens and pains. Wait, that actually kind of makes sense. I just wanted to make a joke about peen, but the pain part actually made sense too. I'm so fun. Anyways, I'm gonna rest my brain. I encourage you to do so as well. Cool. Okay, so yeah, definitely want to create. Oh fuck, my little thingamajiggy fell from my mic. I don't know what this is supposed to do. I think it's actually for the wind, right? But I might break wind, so it's still very useful to have, right? I don't want the audience to be hearing the harsh reality of excess methane in an enclosed environment. So here I am, protecting your ears and your nose. You're welcome. The olfactory system is precious. But okay, so now I have a lot of options, right? Which is big, medium, small. That's me. I just put out a buzzword there. Big, medium, small. Now I have to think about, and you know, silhouette, big, medium, small, silhouette, function, all these fucking words that are just thrown at you when you're at, I guess, my level, right? Which is just, okay, you kind of can draw more advanced combinations of boxes, right? And Like, I'll be clear, yes, this is actually a good amount more advanced. This is 1,000 hours of fucking practice, embodied in the form of boxes, right? But what I'm trying to say is, like, when you're trying to think about design, which is, in my opinion, design is probably the most difficult skill, because design isn't everything, which is simply the ratios, the angles, yeah, it's like the ratios, the angles, the measurements in relation to other ratios, angles, and measurements, and then being placed in a manner which is supposedly aesthetic based on predetermined rules which have been studied regarding how these ratios, angles, and measurements work together, right? I.e., how do things how do things be placed and in a way that looks nice to the eye, I guess, in terms of a less fucking unnecessarily extended way to say it, right? How do things look nice to the eye? Design, right? Composition, oh, the outline, the silhouette, blah, 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 like all those fucking things. And that leaves me and you, the artist, I assume, right, who's I assume is at my stage. And I'm trying to think right now, by the way. I'm not just talking. And drawing and thinking is a very difficult skill, right? But that leaves us, the artists, to be like, what the fuck? Like, actually, what the fuck do we do? Right? And this is where I'm going to try to think about function, which is this has joints. Let's just say this has joints, right? So now, for something of this size, how large should the joints be? Well, in terms of ratios and angles, I want whatever this joint is to perhaps be somewhere out here, right? Let's make it a little bit thicker. And perhaps I want it to jut out from the back as well, because not only have I seen that in designs, look at that line. Look at that line. Do you see how bad that line was? That's good. That's good. That line being as garbage as it was is a good thing, right? Because that is how we get better, is when we make bad lines. And yes, I draw very slowly, and that's okay because I'm focusing on the effort, right? Okay, so now already I feel as if I've made a pretty decent decent. What the? I don't know what's going on with me replacing my fucking D's with J's. Decent leap, I guess, in practice, but even then, okay, so before I even make this line, right, obviously it's going to exist on the other side as well, and that's something we always have to think about, and that's something bless me, I don't think about as often as I would like, right? This is just something, let's just say it's back there, like we see a little bit of it. I actually struggle with that quite a bit, right? And actually don't even think I did that accurately. If I bring it down, right? Because, okay, this is how I'm measuring it. Like, it's coming down here. So I move across, and it may not even be the most accurate, but I move across, and I'm going down, and then I'm trying to roughly make it the same length, maybe slightly less due to the slight foreshortening that will occur. Slight, super slight, right? There's actually not that much, I don't think. Not like I understand the most crazy foreshortening rules or anything either yet, right? But now I'm just trying to think, like, okay, like this, I am establishing that this is a joint, supposedly, right? I'm establishing that this is a joint, you know? What does that mean for what this actually is, right? So if this is a joint, why not just blaze up, right? Why not just blaze up and make some choices right now, like I have, right? And if this is a joint, I could, because like I could have some attachments here, right? I could just have some attachments here, but I have to think in terms of functionality. Well, I'm trying to, as well as like, oh, silhouette. So maybe something like this isn't too bad, where there's these little attachments here as well. And you can see that I'm kind of losing the perspective a little bit, and I'm trying to bring it back, because let's also not forget that perspective is the backbone of all of this, right? Yes, design, yes, composition, but the whole point of me doing this challenge 52, apart from just using it as like a reason for this rest week, and to not work on the portraits this week, right? Just okay, like you have to grind your brain that much. You see how bad that line was? Because from this angle I can't draw. Like my fingers, my motor skills struggle a lot. Same with this angle, right? The consistency of my lines are very, very difficult to adhere to, and that's the beautiful part, is like you struggle. If you don't struggle, you don't learn, right? Yeah, people have this idea that learning is supposed to be easy. Learning is one of the most difficult things you'll do, which is why it's worthwhile. And that's learning anything, which is why we have to, like, we literally have no choice, in my opinion, because it's all an opinion, right? Nothing's based on facts, nothing's based on research. It's all just opinions to make you feel better and to ignore it. But in my opinion, which is a fucking fact, when you associate positive emotions, i.e. dopamine, right, to making errors, your brain learns faster. When you rest during learning practices, your brain learns faster. In my opinion, this is the truth, because it's a fact. But okay, so again, like this isn't too bad, but I feel as if I should have another connection here to showcase that this joint is actually like really connected, right? Because it looks too far away right now. Okay, that's a bit better. And again, like I'm creating like a fake mech, obviously. I'm trying to think about something mechanical. Right? Nothing about this is super legitimate, but see, that was slightly diverging or converging too fast, that line, so I had to fix that a little bit there. But this is how long it takes. It's been 15 minutes and it may not seem like I've done much, but I'm thinking about, okay, let's see what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about how to, I'm focusing on keeping my lines clean, right, which is pen pressure, sensitivity, right, the grip that I'm using, the consistency of the line that's being placed down. I'm thinking about the perspective, which is the entire fucking grid. So vanishing point, horizon line, right? Think about all that. Actually, no, it could literally, it's just horizon line, vanishing point, and then vanishing point really far away, right? It's funny, you can literally change the horizon line based on how you want. I could have it like this, and then vanishing point there, or I could just have it normal, like as it would be, perpendicular to the length of the height of the page, and then it's like, oh, it's actually here and here. But you'll only understand that when you've practiced over 500,000 boxes, like I have. So, actually, I don't even know if I practiced 500,000. Maybe only like 20,000. But like clearly, right? Maybe this is like what, 80 boxes? I don't know. This is arbitrary. Like I'm doing hardcore mode, which is like for Athoro's challenge, which is supposed to be 500 boxes, right? But again, like he's asking for like boxes like these or these and just a shit ton of them everywhere. But I'm trying to do them in clusters and actually design things out of them, right? Maybe I'm not respecting the challenge, right? But I'm trying to utilize the challenge to actually challenge myself even further, even from the simplest parts of it, right? But yeah, like you don't get perspectives on things unless you've actually done it. Like you need, whoever's listening to this, you need to stop fucking watching tutorials. Like genuinely, get the fuck off your phone. Stop watching shit, right? Like I don't get me wrong, I go on Instagram and I watch people's or like look at people's posts, but I'm trying to learn. Like either I'm trying to learn or I tell myself I'm just here to appreciate art for a specific period of time. I don't lie to myself and say, "Oh yes, I'm fucking jerking off to the fact that I'm learning so much by looking at this one post and pretending like I understand what they did with their lighting, their form, their composition, their design." Right? Like I don't. There's no pretending there. So like you're not learning when you're watching something. You're getting notified of information, which is a signal for you to practice that information, right? Like practice applying that information. And the reality is, practicing that information means that you're going to be shit at applying that information for arbitrary hundreds of hours, right? But that doesn't mean you're going to be shit all throughout it. You're going to be shit, slightly less shit, slightly less shit, slightly less shit. Before you know, you're mediocre, right? And now you understand about 10% more things of the information that you've absorbed, right? So, like right now, I'm slightly less shit at design, just slightly. You know what I mean? Just slightly less shit at design. Now I'm trying to think like what I could do here. I have an idea. We just have to see if it's gonna work out, right? Yeah, I have an idea. I'm trying to make like a bit more of a complicated design for this hinge of sorts, right? And obviously I'm gonna make this follow through back here. This is actually good because I'm really trying to think about design, right? I don't care if this is all I draw for this entire hour. It'll probably be this and like something else here, but what I care a lot more about, like genuinely what I care a lot more about, is just trying to, the placement of elements on the page and trying to design them and only use boxes to design them. Or like that's what I give a shit about. So I'm trying to think about how I can connect something here. Let's see. Something like this. We could do something like this actually. And you see how I said could, as in I don't know if this is the right way to do it, right? I could do something like this. Is it the right thing to do? No fucking idea whatsoever. But I'm trying to visualize what that would look like as I do it as well. right? I'm genuinely trying to visualize what that would look like. Okay, so it was a huge mistake. I already fucked up quite drastically. But okay, see, like this is how I know my spatial reasoning is subpar, because like I didn't take into account the placement of this versus whatever I would put here and how that would affect what I would put down. But now see, I have to make things a little bit, just a little bit more, yeah, it's a huge mistake. Yeah, see, so this is actually where my design's possibly gone to shit, but that doesn't mean I simply stop. I have to accept that I made really big mistakes, because now this just looks bad, right? This just looks bad. It's just a fact. There's no cohesiveness here. And that's okay, because this is what I signed up for. These mistakes, right? These subpar lines, everything, is what I signed up for. So when you sign up for failure, what you're actually doing is you're signing up for success, because only through infinite failures will there be even an inkling of success. So hashtag Viggy is a philosopher. Hashtag why am I listening to Viggy? He's never accomplished any sort of success. Well, motherfucker, am I hashtagging or are you hashtagging? Let's think about that. All right, think about that. See? Now, see, the thing is, like, this may look like, oh, wow, it's there's so much detail, so much going on. No, there's nothing going on. Detail without intent is just noise, right? That's like the big thing that is iterated or reiterated in many. Okay, let's see if I make this longer, how that would look. But that maybe that looks a little bit better. But like, that's a big thing that a lot of artists say, right? Or just, yeah, artists, definitely artists. I don't think it's really applicable to much else. But yeah, detail without intent in the artistic sense is just noise. And I just created a bunch of noise here, and now because of this beautiful mistake, I have another problem to solve, which is how do we ensure this noise is not wasted, right? How do we ensure that this noise actually can turn out to be a good thing? Well, let's see. Okay, I think I know what to do. Watch how shit my line's gonna be. I want to be very clear. Just watch how shit my line's gonna be. See, like I'm cheating right now because I'm using my wrist, but look, if I just use my finger from this angle. Now, maybe you didn't see what I experienced, which is extreme difficulty keeping my hand aligned in this angle and keeping the line straight, because you can see I made a lot of fucking little wiggles, right? Like I just kept fucking it up, and then it got super thick at the end because it was the tail end of the movement. So that should tell you that everything is a skill, right? Everything is a fucking skill, man. How many times do I have to say it? How many fucking times do I have to say it? Right? And then we will do something like this, right? Now this actually has a little bit more going for it. You know what I mean? This actually doesn't look too bad. And again, just my little, this is a box. Obviously, I'm trying to tilt boxes as well, where applicable. But it's very difficult to make sense of it all. But hey, I'm honestly just happy that it seems my silhouettes are getting slightly better, I'd like to think, right? They are getting slightly better. And again, athoro, I don't know if this is what you wanted, right? I don't know if, like, I'm pretty sure there's literally a part in the challenge that actually addresses this, yeah, that actually like addresses like box clusters, right? I'm pretty sure there is, or like box and cylinder clusters. I'm just trying to go above and beyond for myself and to really challenge myself, right? Because thinking is the only currency that I have right now. So this is tilted. It's okay if it's tilted, actually. I'm just trying to, there you go. That's actually like not bad. This is like a big shape, I guess, right? These are all like mediums, big, little mediums, medium smalls, right? Again, was I really actively thinking about that to the extent that I just verbalized it? No and yes, like no actively, but yes to some degree, like a strong amount subconsciously, right? Because I am trying to at the very least think about those different angles and ratios and all that stuff. And when you constantly keep looking at references and trying to understand what those references actually mean, you end up creating you end up following those principles. So again, like the main thing you can always do to improve yourself is the practice, dumbass, fucking practice, right? And stop being intimidated by practice. You can spend 10 years mentally jerking off over the fact that you could practice but you didn't, or you could spend 10 years being garbage and be getting slightly better, and then being like, oh shit, I actually know 100 million times more than just when I was jerking off to the fact that I didn't practice, right? Like, please, for the love of God, if there's one thing you can learn is just do the fucking thing and expect to fail and internalize that the failures are good things, right? Like the failures are good fucking things. But again, I've talked about mindset so much. How many of you will actually understand this? How many of you will actually apply this? Very few. Vast majority of you will just keep either not understanding, not wanting to understand, not integrating, or not listening, right? For your own sake, more than mine, right? Like you just, and it's likely because you have ego, you know. And by the way, that doesn't mean that like I'm above that as well. I want to be very clear. I've gotten criticisms now because think about what I'm doing, right? I am an individual who's putting out their entire learning journey. I've talked about this before, but I'm someone who's putting out their entire learning journey on the internet for a skill that's extremely difficult to achieve. I will of course get lots of support, feedback, whatever, but I'll also get a lot of people giving me advice, suggestions, and I have to filter that suggestion. I have to filter the intent of that suggestion, and I have to filter whether these people even have the skills that I'm looking for. You know, I've gotten critiques from people be like, do it like this, do it like that. So like, I don't know who the fuck you are. I don't know if you have the skills I'm looking for, right? Do you have Kim Jong-il skills? Do you have Peter Han skills? Do you have Karl Kapinski skills? Do you have Elisa Ivanova skills? Do you have Sori Kim skills? Do you have Evan Amundsen skills? And there's 100 fucking more that I can list. But do you have the draftsmanship skills that I'm looking for? No? Then why the fuck should I listen to you? Right? I listened to Tyrion. Tyrion gave me some advice to this day that I've been trying to internalize, right? And again, like giving advice is easier on his end, but applying it is more difficult on my end. But I'm still trying to apply it, right? I'm still trying to keep these little things in mind. And obviously, there's information overload as well. I can't just apply everything he said because I don't have the skills that he has, right? But yeah, what I was trying to say, like, think about, it's not in terms of like, oh, woe is me, pity me, but it's like, just objectively, you think about the position that I'm in, where, Jesus Christ, cock in my throat, anyways, frog in my throat, anyways, if you just think about the position I'm in, which is, I'm literally, if you're gonna call it vulnerable, because I've had fans on my streams be like, this was very vulnerable of you. It's like, yeah, sure, okay, I'm putting my entire literally my entire learning journey on display. And I'm very passionate, so I will say things that don't really sometimes mesh well with people. Where like I will say things that people will be like, wow, this guy's talking a lot of shit, which I do. I'm a huge shit talker. I can't deny that. But yes, I talk a lot of shit, and I'm very passionate about the subject because, like, especially like I'm obviously a huge dick to beginners. If people will, I guess, perceive it that way. But you know, people won't read between the lines and see the nuance. Like, oh, this is someone who's also a beginner, and they don't want beginners to go through what he did, and he's literally just encouraging them to fucking stop bitching, do the work, and learn how to enjoy the work, right? Is that so wrong? Have I not convinced you with that very clear and succinct argument that I'm always right? Right? Exactly. See, look how fucking shit that line was. Look how shit all these lines are. It's amazing. It's genuinely amazing. And I see I misaligned this too, so see, like this angle, I hope you're all seeing, like this angle is one of the most difficult angles for me to draw clean lines with. That was a fuck up. Well, this entire thing's been a fuck up, but at least it's looking more like a mechanical hinge thingamajiggy. But I'm gonna rest my brain, and then I'm gonna go back to my slow but sure empathetic pity sentence. I don't fucking know. I'm basically I'm trying to make you feel bad for me by proving that I'm trying so hard. But let me rest my brain. I'll actually make my point. But I encourage you to rest your brain as well. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is I'm not above criticism. I just have to also make sure that the criticism, feedback, and advice I receive is conductive or conducive, not conductive, I don't think that's appropriate, but conducive to my goals, right? But what I'm trying to say is like, yeah, like I'm not above the feedback as well. Like mainly, really, like I'm not above the feedback. By the way, like when I was doing all this, like this is why talking and drawing is such a difficult skill, because you have to understand that I was literally trying to think about a design while I was doing this. Like, okay, maybe, and I know this is kind of cheating because this isn't a box, this is an addition, like it's a cutout box on top of it. And already, like the shape isn't even that good. I should probably have extended it like so. See, there you go. That already looks so much better. Okay, but see, that was a mistake. But that looks so much better. And if I was gonna do it on this side, I probably should have done it on the other side as well. But this is the beautiful part. Is like I'm literally learning design, and I wouldn't say I'm in a rush, but I'm definitely really trying to focus on getting things understood. Like I'm definitely trying to focus on getting things understood. So let me see what I can do here. Like I want to make this silhouette a little bit more interesting. So, and again, interesting is a very poisonous word in my opinion, but if I just bring this out, I am trying to think about the perspective as often as possible. But it's like when you create the perspective, there's a lot of other things that will also create that. Okay, see, and then this goes out and then it comes back around. Yeah. So when you create the perspective, you end up following the perspective because you keep looking at the other lines to hold you accountable for that perspective, right? That's the way I like to think about it. But also, you do want to try to think about that larger grid as much as you possibly can. Now, I don't know if this is the right thing that I did, quote unquote, the right thing, right? But, and this is technically cheating because I'm cutting out as well. But let's see. See, and that's not a good line. Like all these lines, so 90% of the lines that I made are mistakes because this line is not what I wanted. It's a very thick line, and I wanted a very thin line, right? And now I think I can. Now I think I can make the silhouette that I wanted, which is, I want to do something that's a little bit bigger, like wider here. Because this thing looks like it has no support on the neck now, right? So we need to fix that by, well, I don't know if I can fix it, to be honest, because it went from being some random machinery thing to now like clearly it's looking like some sort of mech with an arm joint, right? Something like that. Did I really envision this? No and yes. Like I had a vague idea, and I'm kind of just, because I can't. Let me speak for myself, right? But I think this applies to a decent amount of people, which is, it's hard to think about more than 3 to 4 things. I think from a science like learning based perspective, right? We can only really juggle 3 to 4 intensive concepts and applications, like applying those concepts at a time. Which for me right now is like the focus is the line, the perspective, the shapes, and the design, right? So thinking ahead of that, which is like, yeah, I'm juggling those 4 things constantly, right? And then trying to think ahead of that, right? Which is, oh, now I have to also really think about like overall, what is the main thing I'm trying to draw? Not impossible. It's not that it's not doable. It's also something that I clearly just in my mind have forgotten, right? Like I just didn't, that wasn't my focus, that wasn't my attention, right? And those 2 words are key, my focus and my attention. Like if it's, because that's all I can control, right? And practice, because even practicing your focus and control is a practice, it's a skill. Then I didn't allocate the brain energy required. But now I'm gonna try, and it's never too late to try, right, to allocate that. But see, like now that I'm thinking, like I'll be I can't even fucking speak. I will be even more transparent, which is now that I'm trying to think about the design and thinking ahead, right? Thinking ahead, like in terms of what I really want, it's even more difficult to hold the perspective and the design in place because now there's literally a 5th thing that I have to think about, right? So I'm actually struggling to think about what is like, what am I adding to this? You know, like what is actually going on? But let's do something like, and we don't know, like the most beautiful part, but the most difficult part for people to understand is they don't know if it's gonna work, right? But that's learning. Like if you don't know it's gonna work, that means you're on the right path, because not knowing is the path, right? And the belief that you'll figure it out is the conclusion of the path, right? It is the process of the path, being like, I don't know if it's gonna work. And now I know, like, I could have made this thinner, right? I could have made that a lot thinner. So, man, that's a relatively interesting silhouette. I don't hate it. I did want to do more, but you know what? We can actually carry this design motif. I like that word motif, right? With here. Now, see, this is where I have the liberty to be like, hey, why don't I just stop it a little bit short? Right, why don't I stop this a little bit short? And you can, guys, I hope you can see like how my lines are consistently just missing the mark. Literally, right? Like in terms of their consistency. Look at that, that's thinner too. I literally fucked that up because I didn't, yeah, see, it's supposed to be higher up. But I made that mistake and I have to live with it. But same thing here. It's like I'm probably gonna make some mistakes. And I'm gonna have to live with them. See if we can make this slightly longer, right? That's what I meant by design motif. Is like if we can kind of make things look similar, then that's a win. Look at that. It's been 35 minutes. I've been doing this for 35 minutes. Art takes time because I'm really trying to think about design. And I'm just using boxes, right? Like this is why I keep saying the fundamentals are not boring. We, the applicator, right? The one who's applicating the application, we are boring. And someone will say, well, I cannot draw like this, so of course you can make it look good, and I can't make it look like that. Well, no shit. You will have to make the fundamentals that you're currently learning, right? The skills that you're currently, like the stage you're currently at in those skills. Also made a huge mistake with this line, right? The smaller the shapes get, the more accurate the perspective has to be. But yeah, it looks like shit, but that's a good thing. It's a mistake, right? Yeah, and I know the argument will be had where it's like, you can say that because you can fucking draw to this level. It's like, no shit, but if you go back a year, I could not draw to this level, and I still did my best to make what I could draw to look interesting. Like, come on, I think that's a pretty self-explanatory concept. It's like, you're not gonna be able to make the thing that you look at in other people's drawings be the thing that you want, be the thing that you're currently drawing. Which is why the problem solving, right? Problem solving skill is, how do I make what I'm currently learning? How do I apply the skills that I currently have to look interesting? The answer is you'll fucking figure it out. Nobody can answer that for you apart from your own, literally your own efforts. Like nothing apart from your own efforts and you going out of your way to be like, how the fuck can I make this look interesting because I don't understand it? Nothing apart from that. Okay, see, I muddied this quite a bit. These should have been a lot thinner. If these were a lot thinner, now I know, like, now that I know, in terms of like spacing things out, making this a lot thinner would have made that look better, right? And I can't fix it now, so we'll leave it and it's fine, right? Mistakes have been made, right? It was definitely a lot more readable. Now this is just blending together instead of this being its own distinct thing like it was before and this being its own distinct thing, right? Is there a way for me to fix it? Who knows? Right? Who knows? We'll have to actually see. Maybe it's fixed. I mean, I could also just add a little bit more detail here. This is gonna be making my lines are fucking abysmal. But I could just add a little bit more detail, right? Which it also creates that separation, right? It's like, oh, okay, this is something else. There you go. See, now it's like, oh, okay, because this is more values, right? More values, more details here. Not that I understand values, I want to be very clear, but now that more details here, it's like, oh, look, okay, now we're seeing this again. That's just the way I understand it. It could be wrong, but it worked to a decent extent. But yeah, nobody can learn the figuring it out process for you. I can only tell you scientifically, hey, rest your brain. Speaking of, I'm gonna rest my brain. And I encourage you to do so as well. I'll get back to this thought process. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is, and I hope my work and the practice that I'm doing over this year now and beyond, right? I've logged everything that I've done, so there shouldn't be any questions about what did you do because it's all fucking there, okay? No fucking questions about what did you actually do. It's like all fucking there. If my skill and beyond, like, because I'm assuming there's at least like fucking one person who understands exactly what my skills are gonna get, what level my skills are gonna get me to, my practice is gonna get me to. So if there's one thing I can fucking tell you, right, just one, it's that nobody can figure it out for you. You will get advice, you will get information, you will get structure, right? Hashtag artwad. Link in description. I'm not affiliated. I'm just a dick writer. But no, seriously, like, I mean, they're great. But that aside, right, you will get things and specifically information that will direct you towards, hey, like this will consolidate your learning experience, right? Consolidate your learning experience. It won't create your learning experience, but it'll consolidate it in a manner which will, depending on what you're practicing. Again, I highly fucking recommend artwad because it teaches you form. But yeah, depending on what you're practicing, you will get information, right? But you will still have to go through the trial and error of internalizing that information in a manner that makes sense to you, in a manner that is appropriately understood by your brain. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? Like, it has to be understood by your brain. How I understand perspective, like, okay, let me just explain it. Like, here's how I think about, here's what I visualize, right? Here's just what I visualize when I'm trying to draw an ellipse, right? Like, here's just what I visualize. I visualize this plane. Now, generally, this is the sentiment. This is the consensus. This is what's taught. It's like, you need to visualize a perfect plane, and then you need to just go through thousands of repetitions to be able to draw an ellipse in perspective in that plane, which follows a minor axis. Yes, artists are able to visualize this. Yes, you will build the skill through hundreds of hours of intent. I'm doing this without thinking, by the way, right? But yes, you will be able to do this, right? But how you internalize this visualization, how you visualize, how you process the information, the intent you put behind each repetition, right? Those will be your particular journey, right? People think I've been told, oh, imagination, like I might be creative, my designs might be good. I've been told that sparingly. I'm not saying that I'm not getting an excess amount of comments from real life or YouTube or whatever on that. But that is just a reflection of how I view the world and the things I pay attention to and the designs I try to make out of it. Every single decision I'm making is based on the information that I've taken away from the things I have looked at, right? And the application is only because I have practiced consistently to try to take out and glean the most pertinent, actionable, most insightful parts of that, the studies or the paying attentions or the practices that I've done, like trying to reflect on it and shit, right? So even while I'm talking, by the way, I'm literally trying to figure out a design here. And this is the difficult part for me. Like, I don't know. I just don't know what makes sense. But I'm thinking, let's see, because we want a good silhouette, right? Okay, if we want a good silhouette, I'm thinking something like, because again, like, what is silhouette? I don't know. I'm gonna figure it out right now. I'm literally gonna figure it out right now. Right? Yeah, I'm gonna figure it out right now. So we'll do something like this. And again, silhouette is also, from what I understand, part of white space. Right? Like, it's also about white space. So see, like, I'm going along this axis, I'm going along this axis, and I'm going along this axis. And by axis, I mean the planes, right? Like the different planes of this box, which really just has 3 planes, technically. Right, and now it's like, okay, how do we connect these? Well, I can connect it yonder, donder, donder, yonder, and then bring it to yonder, donder, or donder, some shit like that, right? If you say donder enough, not only will people not know what you're saying, they'll just accept it, so... See, it's like, okay, now we have a little bit of a connection. You know, is this connection really like a strong connection? Depends on if the shape looks like it has that sort of rigidity. And the only way to answer that is like by trying to do it and be like, actually that looks too thin. I probably should have made something that was wider and thicker. But if I wanted that base to be wider and thicker, I probably should have made this thing longer in the first place, right? So now the question is, okay, I can extend it. I can make another one right here, make it longer and thicker, but how does that affect this silhouette? And that answer is, it does. I can see that now because I'm thinking ahead. I can see that if I added a shape here, it would blend into this, right? And I don't want that. I want this to remain distinct, right? So, and again, like, how big should this shape be, right? How fucking big am I trying to make this thing here? Well, I could extend it doubly so and be like, okay, well, this is definitely just a giant machine. I could do that. In fact, I will do that. And I'll leave some gaps because while I'm not certain what those gaps will entail, I am certain that I want to add some things in the middle of these gaps, right? But yeah, like nobody can learn it for you, okay? Nobody will learn any of this for you. Only you can learn it. So the part that you need to understand is that the process is you figuring it out. The only thing that's going to keep you going during the figuring it out process is understanding what the process entails, right? Which is hundreds and thousands of repetitions, hundreds and thousands of errors, and in terms of pure efficiency from a learning perspective, resting during your learning bout and ensuring that you associate positive feelings, right, to the mistakes. And somebody asked me this on stream. They're like, how do I do that? It's like, however you do it. Okay, before I used to, when I first started, for the first year, to make myself just feel happy when I was making mistakes. Of course, you have to recognize mistakes. That's just like, and how do you do that? You just, you hold yourself to the standard of the people you look up to. And your expectation is, your expectations aren't the standards themselves. Your expectation is just to try to strive for those standards. And you try to meet those standards. And when you fail, you now know what that failure is. And that's how you associate positive feelings. And again, in the first year, I was just having a shit-eating grin on my face every time I made a mistake. And in my mind, I would just say error, 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 over and over and over, right? And now I just like feel good. Like now when I draw, it's just about the process for me. I just feel good. But it's been 3 years, 2.5, because the first half a year of my practice as my video, like this is a video for beginner artists. You are not alone. I talk about it, right? Like I was just filled with sheer fucking anxiety and fear about pen to paper, just putting down a permanent mark, right? Because nobody understands that. Beginners don't understand how difficult it is to think and apply, and then apply while thinking, right? So I tried to make it very clear in that video that it's like the difficulty of it, but why that difficulty creates the success, right? But yeah, what the fuck was I saying? Yeah, what that process entails is hundreds and thousands of repetitions, hundreds and thousands of failures that you associate positive feelings to, and hundreds of thousands of attempts internally, okay, to just figure it out, to just and preceding all of that, knowing that the effort is the only thing that matters, and that you will figure it out, okay? You will figure it out. That's all you need to succeed, right? Like if you believe what I'm doing right here is success, right? Hopefully my words resonate to some degree, right? Hopefully. I can't do anything if they don't. Like I genuinely can't do anything if they don't. But my job isn't to be your fucking motivational coach. My job is just to speak my mind. And yeah, hope that maybe somebody will understand what I'm trying to say and make the effort to actively change their mindset, because changing your mindset is an active process. It is not a passive process, right? So yeah, that's all I can say on that matter. But that's what I'm doing right now. Again, like I'm not just fucking bullshitting. I'm literally doing it as we speak. Like I am quote unquote walking the walk, right? Which is very tasty. Walk food is very good. It's just a fucking shit joke. But yeah, like I am literally doing this as we speak with these horrendous lines, and as I'm making these horrendous lines, feeling good about making these horrendous lines, right? And then also trying to zoom out, think ahead about the perspective, trying to think about the design that I'm trying to do, right? Trying to think about how these can be composed, perhaps even a function related to that, right? But it's all based on just constantly trying to figure it out. And I am very confident. Trust. And the thing is, like, I'm saying this, and and again, for full transparency, I literally feel like 40 to 60% of the time that I'm like, will I figure it out? Damn, there's so much to figure it out. But you have to keep reminding yourself. That's the main thing I also want to say is like, you have to keep reminding yourself that, bro, it doesn't fucking matter of thinking, will I not, blah, 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 bullshit. It's like, no, I will figure it out, right? So you have to keep reminding yourself, like, you will. And then the only way you have evidence of the fact that you will figure it out is to look on your past attempts. And when you look at the 100,000 past attempts of you trying to figure it out and being like, oh shit, I did figure it out because I couldn't do this and now I can do this, that should give you the reassurance that, oh, okay, no, like I did figure it out, right? And then you'd be like, okay, well, my standards have gotten even higher and now I'll figure this out as well. Dude, I would have been ecstatic if I could do this a year ago, 2 years ago, right? Genuinely, I would have been fucking shitting myself. But at the same time, I knew even back then that I would simply get better and my standards would change, right? And actually, we'll do a little bit of foreshortening because I've already accidentally, as a mistake, implied it. So we might as well commit to it, right? And there's nothing that there's no rule that everything has to be in the same perspective. Like I'm doing everything in the same perspective to revise and to refine my. That was a mistake. See, a lot of my lines are mistakes to refine and revise my grid seeing abilities, but there's literally nothing in Athoro's handout that says everything has to be in the same perspective, right? So, yeah, and this took me an hour, right? What is it? 50 minutes. It's taken me 50 minutes to draw this, you know? And I'm thinking the entire time because drawing is thinking, right? I'm thinking the entire time. I'm not fucking around, I'm thinking. Oh wait, I wanted to do something like this. Yeah, we'll keep carrying that little design. And the grade, like, see, this really challenges my ability to draw thin lines, but we'll do it anyways. Let's see. See, and I have to like keep this making a little bit of sense. And we'll do it on the bottom here as well. And this is really a challenge for my linemanship, right? But before I even do that, I gotta think like, okay, what am I putting here? And what I'm putting here can also just vary as well. Like I can make a lot of decisions here on what I want to put here. But it's probably best to just make it as simple as possible. And yeah, now we're converging. Okay, now we're officially converging the lines. And I probably should have made this a lot higher and thicker, but you know what? We're not gonna add as much detail. And see, I keep frauding by sliding my hand against, but I need to focus on just having my wrist or my fingers do these lines. You see the difference? But again, you just force feelings of positivity and just feeling good, dopamine, whatever the fuck that is for you, right? Yeah, I just want to make it very clear. Like, I still struggle with fucking so many things to this day, right? I hope it's like, I mean, I'm constantly trying to think about the perspective as well, right? So that's another part of the art process that you just have to accept. Like, you have two choices, right? I always say this, you have two choices. And when I describe these choices, they always boil down to two things, which is be a bitch or don't be a bitch, right? One serves you nothing. The other serves you everything, right? But obviously, if you want me to put nicer words or more meaningful words behind it, which is you have two choices. That you can either focus on the effort, focus on the errors, and derive enjoyment from them, or you can be of poor mindset, like every beginner, and be like, right? Exactly like that. Do that noise over and over and over, which basically translates to, I don't want to learn. Learning is hard. Is it really supposed to be like this? Is it really this hard? Right? Oh, I want the fucking shortcut. I want the quick hack. Get the fuck off of, just don't learn. If you want a shortcut, right? You have two choices within that too. If you want a shortcut, fucking accept that there is no shortcut and that the hard way is the shortcut, right? Like doing the hard work is the shortcut because the shortcut doesn't exist. Or just fucking give up and find something else that you want to bitch about to find a shortcut with and just go through that loop, just like everybody else. Just go through that loop, right? This shape could have been better, but I'm going to commit and stick with that shape. Ah, see, I made a mistake because I closed this when I shouldn't have, because I should have added it here as well. Ah, see, there you go. So now that I've done this, what this is actually going to change because we've made a mistake, right? So now we're going to change what this is. And we're actually going to make it, I'm going to see if adding some variance, right, to this is going to make the design more interesting. Maybe even having a connection here, perhaps. And again, constantly just trying to see that grid. See, and you see, like, even here, my lines suffer quite a bit. Right? And it's, see, like, I should have also thought about the alignment of where this is, but I didn't. So it's a bit misaligned. But then again, this is much further back. Like, this is just shorter in its length than this shape here as well. So it makes sense. But overall, this ended up looking like some kind of factory machine in terms of, I guess, the shape design, right? Like, there's some clothing here, maybe, right? This could literally just be some sort of factory machine, because we can literally just say, like, for scale, that a person is like this big, right? Like, so this could literally just be some giant fucking machine. You see how that just completely changes the scale? Like, do you see that now? Like, it completely changes the scale. Something I never really understood, but now I'm trying to. And like we already said, and I didn't even mean to, but I ended up setting a ground plane, right? And that works out pretty decently as well. Like, that works out pretty fucking decently as well, right? So I think I'm starting to understand design a little bit better. It's just a little bit better, but I think I am actually starting to understand design a little bit. Now, what that little bit is gonna get me is just more practice. Right? Like, there's no way around it. It's just more practice. And this is why I enjoy the process. And it's funny, like, I'll go through all my goddamn mental turmoil, and I think, like, maybe this will make me relatable to people who have called me hardcore or whatever the fuck, is the fact that I literally don't want to draw. I did not want to draw today, bro. I didn't. I never want to draw. I literally, like, and this isn't me speaking into existence that I don't like drawing or whatever, but just objectively speaking, when I reflect on my state before starting and after starting, before starting is always worries. It's always worries. Be like, yo, am I gonna be able to do it? Am I doing this, doing that? That's why I talk so much about, like, believing in yourself, right? It's because, like, I literally, like, 90% of the time before I start drawing, it's very rare that I'm in that right mindset where I'm just like, fuck yeah, let's learn. Why do you think I'm always listening to, like, you know, motivational shit? Alex Hormozy, hard work is the goal, right? Andrew Huberman, here's how you learn, right? I'm constantly reminding myself, because I literally am shit scared sometimes of just starting. Let me make like a smaller thing here. See, usually my line work, like, especially when I'm nearing the tail end of my hour, everything usually goes to shit, but I'm trying to keep it intact as much as possible. See that these two are diverging, because I had to kind of like fraud that, because I was afraid of making the wrong mark, right? But yeah, I literally, like, 90% of the time when I draw, I don't really feel like drawing, you know, or at least, like, before I start. Actually, when you get into it, you end up drawing. Like, that's just how it is. Like, when you get into it, you just end up being way more focused, because you just, yeah, it's just like, okay, well, I kind of have to focus now. I'm here, right? But otherwise, before that, I genuinely do not feel like drawing. And again, like, I'm talking slowly because I'm trying to think about the design. I'm trying to think about the perspective and everything, right? But I'm trying to think about, like, the length of the shape. I think I've gotten a lot better at the ratios, to be honest. This actually looks relatively aesthetically pleasing compared to even like this, all of these. Holy shit. So see, practice, constantly trying to understand and observe and take my time. Biggest thing is take my time. But yeah, like, I literally do not feel like drawing so much, bro. I'm always in my own head. So these are more so reminders to me. Like, when I say these things, they're mainly reminders to me to be like, just stop, because I actually don't bitch anymore, thankfully. I don't bitch to myself about, oh, this is hard, because I know it's hard. Like, I've internalized and accepted that it's hard, and I've internalized and practiced the fact that I just need to get better, right? Like, it's gonna be difficult, and that's the best part. Like, I've internalized that, you know. But just the matter of like, being in the right headspace to learn, I struggle with that all the fucking time, you know. And, you know, my ego is like, one day when I am great, people will listen to this and be like, okay, this is reassuring. Right now, it's probably not reassuring. Now, right now, I was like, who the fuck does this guy think he is? But when I am great, right, and when, not if, but when I am great, hopefully a select few thousand of you who actually gave a shit about my art process back in the day, 5-10 years ago, right, which is now current, will be like, damn. So he just, like, this was inspirational. I'm not trying to inspire, but I'm trying to keep reminding myself, and hopefully I do inspire, in a sense, like, in the sense that if I can do it, you can do it, right? Like, that's all I ever want to say, is if I can do it, you can do it. The shape here kind of seems a bit off. I'm gonna have to draw over, which is a mistake. See, like, my design kind of went to shit at the end, but that's not bad. That's not bad at all. And it's been 59 minutes. See, it took me an entire hour to draw this. I want to be very clear. It took me an entire hour to draw this. And that is normal. Like, that is normal to take time to draw things. Okay, my speed will come with literally just time and proficiency, right? And oh, like, perspective is actually a bit off here because I fucked up this line. But yeah, like, it'll literally all come with time. So in the meantime, you just gotta fucking do the work, right? You literally just gotta, and see, all these lines are subpar because I'm trying to make them even thinner than they actually are. See, that was a mistake. My finger wavered. It's, oh, that was a mistake. That line was too thick. Everything I do is a mistake. I want to be very clear. Okay, I think that's okay. Maybe I'll add just another connection here. Up, see, that line was too thick, so now the connection is unclear. But yeah, not bad, not bad. It looks, at the very least, this I think this definitely looks the most readable by far. Like, by far, it looks the most readable. I think I do want to add some sort of connection here. Let's see, something like this. Right, and we can actually just extend it to be like, oh look, it's happening everywhere. There you go, see? And now it looks like, okay, cool, like it's extended outward. And there you go. That's actually like that's kind of but overall I definitely said this is my best design with just boxes. For sure, like the variety, the variance, I could definitely do a lot more of these diagonals. I could 100% incorporate a lot more of these diagonals because I didn't really incorporate them much at all, right? I like that this is just a blank shape. Like, I like that it's just as it is. I feel as if just leaving that little bit of openness, whether something could be done with it or not, I feel as if it's a pretty good idea. And yeah, next time we'll create a smaller shape here and a smaller shape here, and we'll fill this out. That was good. I'm really, really happy with this, but next time I'm gonna do the bottom angle because that way it'll practice me again from this angle, right? I'll practice something like this, right? Maybe something going this way and then something going that way, but it'll be the bottom angle, something like that. But that's gonna be in the next few hours. I'll come back and work on it. But yeah, good fucking session. I mean, I've definitely gotten better at the skill of talking while drawing, but again, like, I'm not using nearly as much cognitive energy. Like, it's all focused on design, right? I'm not using as much cognitive energy at all compared to this, which is like the box, the sphere inside the box, or the center lines inside the sphere inside the box, and then designing over that. But I feel as if coming back to this is like doing a lot of this is gonna help me with this when I come back in terms of like the shapes I want to use and stuff, right? So that's why I'm really gonna use this rest week, what's remaining of it, right? Today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, to just draw as much as I can and to really focus on understanding design principles as much as I can, right? I don't even know if we've hit 500 boxes. We probably at least hit 100 here, right? So yeah, I'm doing hardcore, whatever. But anyways, I hope you put a lot of effort in, right? I hope you enjoyed that effort, and I hope that you tried your best and, you know, really fucking focused on the effort. I think I just said the same thing, but in 2 different ways. But with that being said, as always, fuck you for watching, keep drawing, and please, give me money.